Mr. Speaker, yesterday the gentleman from Henry reminded us that there are two chambers in this place. There are indeed two chambers, Mr. Speaker, and they often differ in tradition. They sometimes differ in tone, and at the moment they differ in party leadership. However, Mr. Speaker, one of the starkest differences between the two bodies is in the area of our respective budgets this year. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we in the House have made the case in the latter part of this session that we are pursuing a budget based on sound financial principles and fiscal restraint, focused on the delivery of core government services, focusing on our needs, Mr. Speaker, and not our wants. The Senate has no such inclination this year, it would appear, Mr. Speaker. Even in the current political climate where more and more Virginians are watching closely the manner in which the government spends their money and incurs debt on their behalf, it appears that the Senate has a tin ear for the song sheet that the rest of Virginia is singing off of, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday you heard the gentleman from Augusta rattle off nearly $4.6 million in non-state agency allocations that are in the Senate version of their budget proposal. This is in light even of the Attorney General's opinion that says it is unconstitutional to do those things. Mr. Speaker, those examples pale in comparison to the excess and abandon that is also inserted in that Senate budget proposal this year. While we proceed with funding projects through measured spending and the prudent issuance of bonds, the Senate continues to push for pie-in-the-sky capital projects totaling over $600 million. Mr. Speaker, the one glaring example of this excess, and I would call it self-indulgence, is something the Senate is proposing yet again. I thank my seatmate for his doing that right on cue. Mr. Speaker, for centuries, tyrants and kings have plundered the public treasury and taxed their citizens to the breaking point in order to create lasting monuments to themselves. Among these glaring examples of history, the Great Pyramid, the Palace of Versailles, and the Taj Mahal, we now add the Virginia Senate Palace and House Annex. Built, Mr. Speaker, to the tune of nearly $300 million. I read it somewhere, Mr. Speaker. I read it. That this project is being proposed at this moment in our history, Mr. Speaker, is unconscionable. People all around the Commonwealth are sitting down at their kitchen tables and they are making financial decisions in terms of their household priorities. They expect their government to do the same. It would be one thing, Mr. Speaker, if the General Assembly building was crumbling around us. It is not. It would be another thing if we had all the money in the world to do everything we want. We do not. Mr. Speaker, the Senate, in crafting their budget, has chosen to ignore the realities in which we find ourselves, and we in the House have not. Mr. Speaker, I know there are some folks in here who, and I'll get out of the way so everybody can see it, some folks covet what they see there. They see many vacant corner offices that they may dream of filling one day. If they love this picture and they love the budget that will make it a reality, they're going to have a chance to vote on it. And if they really like the picture, I'm going to make sure they get a copy. In fact, folks who want to vote for this Senate budget with this grandiose symbol of self-indulgence and excess, they can likewise expect that their neighbors may receive a picture of this as well, Mr. Speaker, along with a nice, pretty picture of the person who voted for it in every mailbox along about November 1st of this year. Mr. Speaker, the current financial and political climate demands that we make better choices. This is not among them. We in the House have decided to make priorities. And this is the glaring example of why the Senate has not. I encourage the members of this body to be responsible and be restrained and to vote no on this monstrosity and the other things that go along with it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.